That's Madison Tile. She's only a freshman, but she's already the fastest sailor in the water. And she's got Olympic-sized dreams. I'm Shelby Shea, and I'll have that story coming up on Game On Profiles.
That's Turner Means, and he's on the cross-country team at Riverview High School. Turner has overcome some physical challenges just to be able to compete and be a part of the Rams team. That's Marlon Mack, and when he's on his stride, good things happen for the Booker Tornadoes. All of those stories on this edition of Game On Profiles, and we kick off now. Get out.
There you go.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Game On Profiles, where you get the chance to meet some of the outstanding student athletes from our Sarasota County District High Schools. I'm Maverick Johnson. The girls swim team at Sarasota High School has a proud tradition, led by their longtime head coach, Sherwood Watts. Coach Watts has seen numerous talented swimmers over the years, and this season is no exception. A freshman is currently the fastest on the team. She is Madison Tile. Maddie to her teammates. She swims the relays and the 100 butterfly and the 100 breaststroke. And for this swimmer, things are certainly looking good. Our student reporter, Shelby Shea, she caught up with Maddie and her head coach and found out how Maddie has become so good, so fast.
Madison Tile, or Maddie to her teammates, has been swimming since she was 9 years old. And when she jumped in the pool, she knew she had finally found the sport for her.
I did a lot of sports before swimming. I did soccer and I did cheerleading and I did ice skating, and none of them, I did them for like a year and then I was just tired of it.
In the water, Maddie is at home and she swims year-round for the Sarasota Sharks.
The Sharks team is like a family because I'm with them so much, and we do team travel trips too. So I really connect with them, and everyone's really supportive, even at practice.
Talking about practice, Maddie is at the pool before 5 a.m. 3 times a week, and then every day after school. She is enjoying her first year of swimming for the Sailors.
Yeah, I really like swimming on the Sailors. Most of my friends are on the Riverview team, so it was kind of scary going into Sailors, realizing I'm going to be with a lot of new swimmers, but I've connected with a lot of them.
Being the fastest on the team is a good way to fit in.
Okay, so let's go another breaststroke.
Maddie's head coach is Sherwood Watts, and he likes what he sees when Maddie starts a race.
She's the fastest swimmer that we have. She's an incoming freshman, and she's been swimming for the Sharks since she was probably 7 or 8 years old. So she's really, really quick.
Maddie is a true natural in the water. The first time her coach saw her swimming, he couldn't believe what he was seeing.
When I first tried out, my coach told me that I was a natural breaststroker, so it's just always been probably my favorite stroke.
Maddie's good at a lot of things, but she definitely has a breaststroke. I think it's a combination. To be a good breaststroker, you have to have good feet, and she's got really good feet, meaning she grabs real well. And she's got a very, very high tempo. And breaststroke is sort of a born kind of thing. It's really hard to become a breaststroker if you're not. And she picked it up very, very quick. And it's really good for a team to have a good breaststroker like her, because there aren't too many.
Maddie competes in the 100-meter breaststroke and the 100-meter butterfly races, practicing hard for both.
When I was like 9, breaststroke was always my best stroke, and then when I turned like 11, fly became more dominant to me, and I've been working breaststroke back in, but fly has still stuck with me since then.
When Maddie hits her stride, it's exciting to watch.
Oh, it is. It's exciting, and to see somebody really give their all and come out smiling, that's very, very cool.
It's really exciting to look up and see that you beat the person next to you by even like 0.1 of a second. that you race the whole way, and it's exciting when you see the number 1 by your name.
On the scoreboard, Maddie sees that number 1 by her name a lot, and she has big dreams for her future.
I want to swim in college and go to the Olympic trials for sure.
The Olympics are a long way off, but her coach knows that if Maddie stays dedicated, anything can happen.
I think she's really, really talented. I think swimmers, when they get to be 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, they make the decision to fully train for that, and that's what they're going to do. It's just sort of a whole nother perspective. It's possible, but we'll see.
We'll keep our eyes on Maddie Tile, one of this season's fastest sailors in the water and a talented student athlete on the Sarasota High School swim team. Reporting for Game On Profiles, I'm Shelby Shea.
Well, let's talk a little about Maddie here. Did she always like swimming, or did she do other sports?
No, actually she tried, a bunch of different sports like ice skating and horseback riding. She was, very versatile.
Now, you swam a little bit, you were telling me, when you were younger, so tell me what you think of when you hear that she goes to practice 5 a.m. or earlier 3 days a week.
I think that is absolutely insane, but that's, it's really amazing that she does that. I think that really shows her dedication.
I know you've done a lot of stories for us on athletics and student athletes at the high school level. What do you think when you hear that a freshman, incoming freshman, is the fastest swimmer on the Sarasota High School team? I mean, what comes to mind and your take on that after spending some time with her?
I was actually pretty shocked at first because I was expecting, the coach to put up a senior because usually that's what's done. But I was so impressed by the fact that this freshman was, the best out of everybody. That's amazing.
How complicated is it to do multiple strokes, especially as a freshman at a high school team? I mean, she's doing 2 or 3 different categories there in terms of when she goes to a swim meet.
It's pretty difficult, honestly. Those two, the breaststroke and the butterfly are the 2 most difficult, and it's really impressive that she can do both as well as she does.
And she's doing a good job of balancing athletics and, of course, academics as a freshman. That's got to be tough as well.
Definitely. Her coach mentioned that she's, great in the pool and great out of the pool, just an all-around good kid.
We've had a lot of, in this particular area, swimmers that have done well, gone into college and even into the Olympics, and she's got her eye on both of those, I guess?
Definitely. I could totally see her in the Olympics, and she definitely can too. That's her dream.
It's interesting. I think one of the things we learned in your story was Coach was saying around age 17 is when it really becomes one of those things where, okay, now I got to get serious about training, in particular for the Olympics as you go into college. So she's got some time still to kind of hone her craft before she gets to that age.
Right. She does have time, but I don't think she needs that. I think she's pretty dedicated. It's impressive.
Well, great job on the story, Shelby. Thanks for bringing it to us.
Thank you.
We've got more Game On Profiles in a minute. Stay with us here on the Education Channel.
And the sunglasses is senior cross-country runner Turner Means, and we'll tell you what he's overcome to be a part of the team. I'm Natasha Samuel, and I'll have that story coming up on Game On Profiles.
Welcome back to Game On Profiles. I'm Maverick Johnson. For our next story, cross country is one of those sports where students learn about pushing themselves to succeed. Each race is a 5K, a little over 3 miles, and for some the race gives you the opportunity to try to improve on your best time while also trying to beat those other runners. One runner this year on the Rams team, Turner Means. Turner not only wants to run his best race each time out, but he's also learning how to deal with and overcome his personal obstacles. Our student reporter, Natasha Samuel, watched Turner run and talked with his head coach, who is also his father, about his son's success.
So we're just going to go like we normally do, 41 and back, and then we'll come back here. And if you want to do, I'll leave it up to you when you get back here about the number of strides.
What got you started in running?
My dad is actually the coach here at Riverview, so I've been running in road races just with the local running club since I was like 9 and 10 years old. I ran track in middle school, so I've been running for a long time, but it's really just my family that got me started.
What is it like balancing cross country and being in the IB program?
It's not easy. It requires a lot of time management that I've kind of struggled with that sometimes, but it's worth it to have something as rewarding as cross country to go along with the IB program.
I understand that you have a disability. Please explain that to us for those that are not aware.
Yeah, I have ocular albinism, which is a deficiency of pigment in my retinas, and that makes my eyes a little more light sensitive. So I'm wearing sunglasses right now, and I do whenever I'm outside. And the main thing in running that it affects me with is my depth perception just a little bit. I have trouble when the terrain is more uneven, so I prefer running on a track, but cross country is a lot of fun for me because I'm really a distance runner. So the longer races I'm better at.
How have you adapted to running cross country with that?
Well, running with sunglasses, and I always have to just be really careful that I don't get too close to any other runners, because sometimes if I'm tired, they seem closer or farther away than they actually are. And running into other people during a race is not fun ever, because it tends to slow both of you down. And I just really have to be careful.
What was it like finishing up your 4 years in high school with having your dad as a coach?
Well, having my dad as a coach kind of makes just cross country feel a little bit more like family. And the team, like any cross country team, will feel like that because you spend so much time together practicing every day. But having my dad as a coach is kind of special, and getting praise from him means a lot to me.
Turner's best time is 17:49, which is a good time in cross country, and this shows how he has overcome any challenges regarding his disability. His head coach, who is also his father, loves the opportunity to coach his son. What is it like to coach your son on your team?
It's a lot more challenging than I thought, because I thought it would be a great experience, and it's turned out to be a great experience. But at times I think it's tougher on him than it is on me. That to me, I try to treat him like all the other kids, and then I end up treating him maybe worse than all the other kids. I have higher expectations, and it's hard for him to skip practice because he's got to ride with me every day. And then of course he's a member of the team, and I'm the coach, and he's friends with all those guys that are on the team, and so at times I think it's difficult for him. Not so much for me. In fact, it's kind of it's kind of a great experience, to be honest with you. The opportunity to coach your own child is really cool.
How proud of your son with him running with his disability?
I'm very proud of him, and I'm a little obtuse, which is a nice way of saying I'm not very smart. And it took me a little while to figure out how difficult it was for him. Because I've known him since he was a little baby, obviously, and he's always adapted. Whenever something has been challenging for him visually, he has amazing memory when hearing something, which is almost kind of bad at times because he remembers everything I say. But it's a way that he compensates for his hearing or for his vision problems.
You must be pretty proud of him.
I'm very proud. I'm proud of him in all kinds of ways, academically as well as what he's done in cross country. Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about IB, student athlete. So what does IB mean?
It's basically the gifted program at Riverview, and it looks a lot better on a college transcript.
Let's talk a little bit about being a student athlete, because you are one. You play volleyball and you take classes full load, and he does as well. Trying to balance that, tough?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to keep your priorities straight, but I think if you focus on what you need to get done, it's really easy.
What makes him interesting too is his disability, legally blind. Now you were at practice that day. Tell me what you picked up on watching him practice with the rest of his teammates who don't have that challenge.
I didn't really notice anything different, and everyone seemed to treat him the same.
His dad's the coach. What did you notice with that dynamic that day?
Well, his dad's very comedic and kind of very honest, so you can kind of tell that he picks on him a little bit, but I think it's for his sake.
Let's talk a little bit about that dynamic with teammates or whatever. Did you notice anything in terms of that balance? Because Dad was talking about the piece. Sometimes I try to treat him the same, but I feel like I treat him worse after looking back on it. But it didn't seem like he picked up on that as the child and as the teammate.
No, I think his dad really wants to see him succeed, and so I think he'll pick on him for that for a little while, but I don't think he really did in general.
You know, let's talk a little bit, and I want to relate this to you because you can relate better than maybe me. You're a student athlete. Your dad's the coach. You have this disability that would maybe sideline many people, yet you're succeeding both in the classroom, college-level classes almost, going to look right on a college transcript, and you're running and you're doing the 5K as a cross-country member at a high level. How impressed were you, and what did you take away from that experience?
He was very humble about it, and I think that he definitely showed that he didn't let any of that affect his running or in school, and you couldn't even tell that he had a disability.
Well, just a great piece, and thanks for shedding some insight on it.
Thank you.
We've got more Game On Profiles in a minute. Stay with us here on the Education Channel.
Number 2 is Marlon Mack. Not only does he carry the game on offense, but he carries the game in defense as well, and he's on the field for almost every down. I'm Jillian James, and I'll have this story coming up on Game On Profiles.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Welcome back to Game On Profiles. I'm Maverick Johnson. For our final story, the Booker Tornadoes football team has many talented seniors this season. One that especially stands out in this group is Marlon Mack. Marlon is a running back and carries the ball a lot on Friday nights. Marlon is also on the field playing defense. He plays safety, and for this two-way star, he likes playing the whole game. Marlon knows by the time the clock runs out, he has certainly done all he can to help his team win. Our student reporter, Jillian James, has our story.
Go! Go!
So Marlon, how did you become interested in football?
Well, I started when I was little. Met my dad. He took me out when I was 6 years old. He took me out to the field and we started playing football.
There you go. There you go. There you
Yeah, can you describe what it's like on Friday night, and can you describe like the energy?
Well, we as Booker High, we all have high energy. We love the game of football, and Friday night is high energy. We come out and play.
go.
How would you describe your running style and your style of playing?
I say I'm kind of quick and I'm kind of strong, so I don't know. I think I'm a balanced back because I have good speed to break away and good power to good power to go through the holes.
And can you describe what it's like to score a touchdown or to get a big run?
Well, I think it's pretty fun because my teammates come out and celebrate with me a little bit, so we don't get a flag, just a little bit.
Go!
Want to go to the NFL one day?
Yes, I want to go to the NFL one day. Maybe play for one of the NFL teams.
What do you plan to major in college?
I want to major in education. I want to be a physical teacher, physical ed teacher, or maybe a football trainer.
And what's your favorite thing about playing Booker football?
I love the purple and gold. I bleed the purple and gold. So Booker is a good school, I think.
What are you going to miss the most about playing?
Well, I'm going to miss playing with my friends, high school friends. I'm going to miss playing with them, the guys I've been raised up with. I'm going to miss playing with them.
Now, Do you like playing offense or defense better?
I say I'm a mixed guy. Defense come pretty easy to me, offense do too, so I'm mixed.
Yeah, how does it feel to play the whole 60 minutes of a game?
I mean, it's tiring, but I do it for my team and I push through.
Yeah, is that surprising?
A little bit is. I thought I couldn't do it at first, but my team said I could do it, and I'm doing it.
Marlon is one tired player after the game. He literally carries the team in offense and usually plays for the whole 60 minutes. He plays safety and running back, and his coach is very impressed with his talent.
Come on, block, son. Come on, block.
What are some good characteristics that Marlon has as a student athlete?
He's a leader, on and off the field. Within his characteristics are within him being involved around younger guys and older guys. Whatever he does, everyone wants to follow. So leading by example, he has great character, very humble. The typical teenager, loves to have fun, joking, but now we're teaching him how to be business-minded at all times, and he's taking that stride for stride.
Does Marlon have some opportunities for the future?
Right now, Marlon is setting himself up to be very successful. Within every game he plays hard, he plays with passion, he's a student of the game. He actually now becoming more of that defensive leader as to being limited plays on defense, but making plays as he performed on the defensive side of the ball to now that it's a full-time job for him to play offense and defense, and he's very successful on both sides of the ball. So he's setting himself up to have a bright future with just him being passionate, being a student athlete of the game, which allows him to have opportunity to compete at the next level. Go.
Can you describe Marlon's running style?
It's a combination of it all. He's explosive, he's elusive, he's fast, he's quick, he's mobile. Like I say, any adjective or noun you want to use to explain someone with the ability to make people miss within a small amount of space on a playing field, you know what I mean, that's Marlon. And then you on the flip side, anyone who can close a gap, you know what I mean, and close timing on the ball to defect the pass or make a nice open field tackle, you know what I mean, with his ability. Like I said, Marlon is very athletic on either side of the ball, offense or defensively. So he's a great young man as far as playing and off the field.
All right, so Jillian, let's talk about your first story here because you're new to the area.
Mm-hmm.
So where are you hail from?
I'm from Charlottesville, Virginia.
Well, welcome to Sarasota.
Thank you.
All right, so your first story, Marlon, you're new at school. Do you know Marlon at all?
Well, I did not know Marlon before the story, but after the story, I got to know him better, and he actually just won our homecoming king.
Wow, awesome. All right, now talk to me a little bit about practice, because you were at practice that day. Give me your perception of watching Marlon. How long were you there for?
Well, we were there for about 2 or 3 hours, and I really got a good sense of Marlon. He was really a good team leader, and it was a very tight-knit team, and the students had great interactions with their coach, and I really felt like it was a very strong team.
You know, it's interesting. We were watching your story, and a couple of people in the room were like, he's just got like a star caliber element to him. In terms of his personality, he just came out, and you did a great job of bringing it out in the interview. Did you get that sense from him as well, off camera as well as on camera?
Yes. Every teacher that has him says that he really has a lot of charisma, and he really is a gentleman. He has excellent manners, and he's a really great student on campus.
Well, it's interesting because he talked a lot about going to class and school and how that's going to get him to the next level. So he does take his academics seriously.
Yes.
Let's talk a little about his goals, because you talked about the NFL. He talked a little bit about college in the NFL. In terms of talking to coach and some of the teachers, obviously you have done that. What do they think in the future for him?
Well, Marlon the sky is wide for Marlon. He can do pretty much anything he wants. He could definitely be eligible for the NFL, and he has some Big Ten schools that are looking out for him.
Wow. Awesome. I also like the fact that he's thinking about maybe, you know, if that doesn't work out NFL-wise, he's also thinking about coming back to be a teacher.
Yes. He said to me later that he actually wanted to become a teacher at Booker.
Well, that's great.
Yep.
Well, welcome to the show and great job on your first story.
Thank you.
All right, we've got more Game On Profiles in a minute. Stay with us here on the Education Channel.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Ready or not, here I come.
Take time to be a dad today.
We're back on Game On. Honored to have Athletic Director James Ward, Riverview High School. 31 years, Coach.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about athletics, academics, and the school atmosphere and how they kind of intertwine and how they kind of help each other.
Yeah, at Riverview High School, academics is definitely number one. And for our athletes probably are some of the better students on campus, always have been. We've had kids, a lot of top students were some of our athletes, and they've gone on to do great things.
What is it about athletics that helps a child, helps a student, a young person, as they go through that education process?
Well, athletics teach you a lot of things that you really don't get a chance to do around the house. Athletics, for most kids, it's the hardest thing that they do. You learn how to lead, you learn how to, you learn rules, you learn how to just go out and work hard, you learn how to win, you learn how to, just to be a good friend, you learn how to be a teammate, and it just has so many positive things about it.
Leadership, multitasking, and also learning how to balance multiple things, whether it be a practice schedule, things with the team, and also your classroom work, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Learn how to go home and get your homework done. Learn how to know what's important. Know how to just set your time, and it's it's a great thing.
Have you seen athletics really help kids? Have them more attached to academics almost because of that needing to have those particular standards to be able to be a part of that team and that atmosphere and to be able to play and practice? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen kids go from being real bad students to being great students. I've seen kids set goals as to knowing that they need certain grades to move on and to really work hard at doing those type things. Some things that they wouldn't do any other time, but they set goals, they see things that they can do through athletics, and they say, well, then makes them better students, make them do some things right. It takes them off the street, and it does a lot of good positive things.
Well, just an outstanding opportunity for me to sit and talk with you. 31 years at Riverview High School, Athletic Director James Ward. Thank you for taking a couple minutes to sit in with us today.
All right, thank you.
Well, that'll wrap up this edition of Game On Profiles. We want to thank all of our student reporters for their fine stories. For all of us from Game On Profiles, we thank you for joining us. I'm Maverick Johnson. Game On!
Get out.